Hi guys, and welcome to FLog Day 13. So today I'm joined by my friend Lissy, who you guys might recognise from a few of my vlogs throughout Vlogmas, because she was around a little bit then, but she lives in Scotland, so I don't see her very much, which sucks. But I mentioned a while ago that I was going to do a video about university on Twitter, and a lot of you were really like, not excited, well I guess kind of excited by it, but like a lot of you said that you would like for me to do it, so I'm going to do it. But I've got Lissy to come and join me because I really didn't have a great experience at uni, so I wanted this video to be a kind of unbiased uni experience video. So I didn't really like uni, Lissy loved uni.
Really good fun.
And we're like best mates, have been for a very long time, so I thought it was kind of a good
overhaul.
Yeah, overhaul. Okay, an overview. That's what you meant. Yes. Okay, so we're gonna go from like choosing uni and like leaving home the first week, what the workload can be like, and then everything else, like an overall experience of like if you're about to go to uni, or even if you just want to know about our thoughts on uni, if you've been to uni already, or if you don't go to uni. So first of all, like choosing the uni, which I think from my experience is the most important thing, which I actually did wrong. Yeah. So I mean, when you're applying, Lissy, you'll know more about this because Lissy actually works in a school, so...
I work at school at the moment. I think there are like a few things that I think are really important when you're choosing a university, and I think it depends a lot on who you are as well. Like me and Fleur, we both went on a gap year, and we'd been travelling around quite a lot beforehand, so I think we were both quite used to being away from home and not necessarily being at home all the time. So I actually, even though I live in the Midlands in England, I actually went to university in Edinburgh, so up in Scotland. So, you know, 6 hours away from home, and I actually didn't have a problem with the distance. I thought that was fine. I quite liked being away from my parents.
Whereas if you like want to spend a lot of time at home and you want to go home kind of during like for the occasional weekend or whatever, then that's something you definitely need to think about, is like the distance. Subject wise, I think it can be really tricky because you basically choose the subject you want to study at uni, which could potentially affect, well, almost directly affects what you're going to be doing for the rest, rest of your life.
I think as well it's really important to point out that British university is different from American, because British ones, you choose your major when you join up, and that's when you're going to be doing
Switched
for
on
3
this
or 4
one.
years. But American ones you can change around while you're doing it.
I mean, you can change at British unis, but it's a lot harder. You generally choose one subject that you're going to excuse me, you choose one subject that you're going to study like throughout the 3 years, and it's the standard courses in the UK are 3 years. Lissy actually did a 4-year course because she was in Scotland, so it's a little bit different. But I think it's really important to kind of be open-minded when you choose a subject as well. So I did geography, which I think is a very broad subject. I did human geography as well, so it wasn't anything to do with like rocks and rivers and stuff like that. It's more like social studies, So it's quite broad, and because I wasn't really sure like where I was going to go or what I was going to do, I think choosing something that can lead into multiple different kind of jobs or whatever you want to, like, you know, wherever you want to go. I think that's really good, unless obviously you're very set on doing something vocational, like
law or veterinary,
medicine, anything like that. But I think that's important to kind of keep your eyes like focused into the future, because you think about it, you're like 17. I know that at 17 I was like, I just didn't have a clue. I was like, I'll do geography just because it's fun.
I really think particularly those arts types, like I had history of art, and a lot of my friends did things like history, politics, those arts-based subjects I think are just really good degrees, just as a solid good degree to have, and they can lead into so many different fields. There's not like a particular, like just because you do English doesn't mean you have to do journalism, you know, you can do anything after that. And
you don't have to like do a conversion course to do something else. They kind of lead into that quite well. So I'm trying to think, the main thing as well that I think when choosing unis, and this is where I really went wrong, because I really didn't like my university and my university experience, I think you have to look quite deeply into the social side of the university as well, and not just rely on league tables, because what I did with my university, I was at the London School of Economics, which, I mean, you can tell by the name, it was quite a serious university. It was based on economics and social science. And I had been told by numerous people that it was not a very fun university. Everybody is fairly serious. They all want to go into the city in general. A lot of people want to go into banking. Not what I wanted to do. And so I ended up being with a lot of people that I didn't really... Not like I got on with them, but they didn't really click with me.
They weren't
very
similar to you.
No, they're not very similar, and I did make a few really good friends that I'm still in touch with, but I didn't have a great time because I just didn't really fit in that well, I don't think. And the reason why I picked it was because it was the top place that I got into. It's like pretty well respected university. It's quite high in the league tables, and I was just really like, I'm going to go for that because it will be great on my CV, and I ended up really not enjoying it. So I wish I'd gone, I'd taken in like to account the social factors and maybe gone to, for example, like UCL, which is on the doorstep of LSE. They're very, very close. They're all like, they're both in London, they're very close to each other, and UCL is kind of known to be the more kind of laid back one, and it's like 2 league table spots below it, and I should have probably gone there and I would have been much happier. So I think that's really, really important, is look at the social side of things, talk to people who've been there before, which is really important for you as well.
Yeah, because the things I always knew, I'm from like the countryside, I always knew I didn't really want to go to London. As much as I like London, visiting almost basically as a tourist, I really didn't want to be at university there. My sister had been at Edinburgh before me as well, so I kind of had a bit of the feel of the city, and I knew, even though it obviously is a capital city, Edinburgh, if you know it, is quite small. There are basically 3 main streets, and then there are really big pockets of student areas where they all live. And I think I knew from my experience when I'd been at Edinburgh visiting my sister that it was what I wanted. It was really sociable city, really fun, really outgoing, had the sports and the extracurricular things that I really like to do.
Yeah.
And as well as, you know, it wasn't the best for my course, but I decided actually I wanted to go to that university more than I wanted.
See that, yeah. So you did the right thing. I did the wrong thing. I went for like, that is like number 3 for geography. I'm gonna go there kind of thing, instead of being like, okay, the league tables change. I should probably just like go for what I like. But yeah, that's also another thing as well. I think is if you deciding what kind of university experience you want, because for example in London, I mean some of the London universities are different because they're further out and they have more of a campus environment. But for example, LSE is very much in the city centre of it. It's in very, very central London, and there's not so much any kind of student community. All of the halls are quite spread out. All of where people live as well. Once people leave halls in the second year, everybody goes kind of all over London. And it takes quite a long time to like go across.
Talk about accommodation. We choose accommodation in your first year as well. Because we both chose different things as well. Yeah,
I did self-catered, and you did catered, didn't you?
Yeah, I did catered, which I think as well, for me, was a really big bonus, because our catered campus is all in this one area. There are something like 3,000 people living there, which sounds a bit nuts, and we all eat in the same area as well. And the food wasn't great. Like, it was okay. I mean, there's always a baked potato and salad, and like, always chips, and, you know, the standard kind of mass catered food. But I think for me, that was actually really good. And there's always so much hype that, you know, you're going to get on with everyone on your corridor and all this sort of stuff. And I actually didn't.
For me, in a big way, like the girls on my corridor, you met them when you came to stay.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't nasty girls. They're like, I didn't fall out with them, but they were just totally like, I barely spoke to most of them. There was one girl that lived next door to me who was really sweet, and I spoke to her on like a daily basis, like, hi, how are you, kind of thing, but we weren't friends. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna pop next door and see my friend. I did have friends in my halls that were like 5 floors below me, but I didn't socialise with anyone in my flat, because it was that's another thing about LSE as well, which I thought was a kind of a good thing when I went there, is that it has a very, very high percentage of international students. So I thought it would be kind of like quite cosmopolitan. You get to know lots of kind of different people, which I love doing, and like meeting people from different countries is just, it's kind of an interesting experience. But at the end of the day, it ended up actually being very cliquey, which is really kind of sad, because I think a lot of people just stuck with people that they either knew from if they'd been coming over and they'd got in touch before, or they basically stuck in like country groups, which is like really sad considering it's meant to be one of the most kind of international unis. So I found that, like, because I was self-catered. I didn't have that like going down to eat breakfast, lunch and dinner.
Like we would we'd all go out on a Saturday night or something, and the next day we would all like meet up for brunch on a Sunday and all talk about what's happened at the student union the night before, and
but even
all,
like
the gossip
meeting new people at the beginning as well, because you're kind of forced to go and eat.
And like you meet friends when you're just sitting at the tables, and I don't know, for me I actually thought it was really really good. Even though maybe my halls itself wasn't great, I don't think you should judge everything on, you know, some people are like, oh, you know, my room's really nasty and there's stuff falling down. It doesn't matter, you're there pretty much for a year.
If you have a good time,
like, you're just sleeping there and doing work, so
yeah
it's fine.
Okay, so the second part is that we were going to talk about is like leaving home, and this doesn't really apply too much to us because, like Lissy said, we went travelling before we went to uni, so we'd both been away from home for like longer periods of time than we would be if we were at uni, so we kind of didn't really have the homesickness thing. Definitely look at distance, like Lissy said as well, and also cost, because sometimes if you want to be going home a lot, if it costs you like £80 to get the train, it's going to deter you as a student when you are skint and you know you can't afford to spend £80 going home every few weeks. It will really put you off kind of going home, and then you can get homesick, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, the third thing we want to talk about is the first week and freshers week and kind of making friends.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, like, even if you're scared, and I know I'm like fairly shy in that kind of situation. I know I was so nervous the first day when I moved into my flat, and I basically had a bit of a palaver when I got there. I went in and they were like, oh, we don't have a room for you.
Oh.
And I was like,
I remember she called me up. And
I actually couldn't, like,
oh.
I was almost, my mum was furious as well because she was with me, and like, because I'd taken a gap year, I'd known that I had my place at that university for a whole year longer than everyone else, and I'd applied for those halls a whole year before everyone else. So like, I'd been one of the first ones in there, and they were like, we don't have room for you, but what we're gonna do is put you together in, because I'd specifically said that I wanted, like, I didn't mind if I had a quiet room, I wanted like a mixed hallway, like I didn't mind being with boys, and like, but basically I ended up with all of the people who had said they wanted to be girls only, super quiet, and like not very sociable basically, and I think that's why I didn't go on with them. But you need to make like a really big effort, even if you're scared on the first day, just to like talk to people, like leave your door open is the main thing as well.
I think that's really key. And
a lot of
like,
people won't know you're in there.
I still do it nowadays, like when I'm in a situation where I know no one, I'm like, what have I got to lose? Just I throw myself at anyone that's walking along. Also about Freshers Week is there's always so much hype that Freshers Week is going to be the best week of your life, and like whatever happens, like, you're going to get really really wasted, and you're going to meet loads of people, and you know, you're going to meet loads of boys. Okay, it doesn't necessarily happen.
Sometimes a little bit of an anticlimax.
No, like I would say a massive one. I was saying Fleur, my best Freshers Week was in 4th year, where I had all of my best friends around me.
Because you know people better.
Yeah, I knew that I was due in for a really long year of hard work, but I was with my best friends. I didn't really care about anything else. I just was having a really good time and a really good laugh.
Yeah. I think like you meet friends like throughout uni, like at different spaces, so if you don't meet like amazing people in Freshers Week, don't worry about it. And a lot of people say like the friends that you make in the first week end up by the time like the end of uni, most of whom you aren't really
and, like I met some really like in my in my 3rd year, I still met some friends that I'm really good friends with now, and I look back at it and I'm like, this was crazy, why weren't we friends before? And same with you as well.
I met like my best friend from uni at the end of 2nd year, and like we had been in classes together, but because we both really didn't like it, we didn't really fit in, we were like after like 1st year we were kind of stayed to ourselves a little bit in classes, because it was kind of like we kind of knew everybody, we thought we did, and we ended up meeting and like working on a project together and literally clicking and just hitting just like that, and just hitting it off, and like we really got on so well, and she's like one of my best mates still. So like I think, you know, you can meet people throughout.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, next thing, work. And the work. No, the thing that I wasn't prepared for at uni was the difference in the
style of work.
The style of work, and also the grading of the work. Yeah. Because first of all, like I never really had to read for work before. Like
writing notes on books.
Yeah, at school I think everything is kind of like spoon-fed to you in the way that you have a lesson, and Woof is barking at nothing again. You have a lesson and they kind of, the teacher teaches it to you.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like at uni...
You get spoon-fed quite a lot.
Yeah, you get spoon-fed everything. Whereas I think at uni it's like they'll mention something that you're expected to know about because you're meant to have read a book about it already. And like doing reading that's not on the reading list, like that's what scared me, is the reading list is like this long for every lecture that you go to, and you have to choose what to read. But then you're also expected to do reading outside of the reading list as well. So like, it depends on what subject you do. Like if you do maths and like economics and stuff, there's not so much, but geography there was a lot of reading, and for you I guess there was a lot of reading.
Well, I think Fleur worked a lot harder than I did at university. I would say also I think LSE was a lot more like driven like academically. Like not that obviously like, Edinburgh is like a really top university, but LSE I think is quite just like I think academically at school I think we were quite similar.
Yeah.
And that we were like I was quite often getting like higher grades than you were, and you were working a lot harder, I think. Like we were
at uni. Yeah, I was working
yeah, not at school, like at uni.
Like that's the thing, like I remember coming to visit you and you being like, oh yeah, I go to probably like 2/3 of my lectures, and I was like, if I missed that many lectures I would be like, because that's the thing, like you can miss lectures at a lot of unis, you can, but I think my
British universities don't know about American ones.
Yeah, I don't know about American. All this is British unis, guys, not American. So yeah, I mean I felt like if I missed a lecture I would be totally off kilt for the rest of the term. Like I'd have to catch up and like get my friends' notes and like see what had happened, because a lot of the time as well, like because geography was a small subject, like it wasn't like you weren't given that much stuff online. Some of the economics lectures, obviously because it's an economics school, were actually filmed and put online, so you didn't have to go to your lectures, you could just watch it online.
Oh my god.
Which I kind of disagree with, because I think you should make the effort and go, and I think for all those people that made the effort to go to the lecture and get out of bed and get that information, I think they should be given a slight advantage to the people that were lazy and stayed in bed and woke up at midday and then watched it online. I think there should be an advantage to like actually going.
I will say as well, like loads of people when you go to university, basically I don't know what it's like most people, I think it basically is in your first year you have to get this 40% basically to get into your second year.
So low.
Which like, it is really low, and then essentially your grade is marked on your second and third year, or your final 2 years.
My first year counted.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Only for like 10%.
But like I know a lot of people that in like their first, well particularly because at Edinburgh your first 2 years essentially didn't count, you just had to pass. So a lot of people would get like scrape by getting 45%, passing really hard, which is great, and they would still end up with their last 2 years they'd work really hard and do get like a really good degree, so it's fine. What I have noticed though, like I was getting like pretty much the same like grades right all the way, like what's called a 2-1, which is like a B basically all the way, which is good. And I've noticed now since I've left university I'm actually really pleased that I did put in a little bit of effort in those first 2 years, because on some application forms, obviously it depends what you want to do, but they'll ask you for your every single grade you've got throughout university.
Oh, that's actually really good, because
so like I'm quite pleased that I didn't just like get 40% and scrape by, which you know I could have done.
Yeah.
But
I was shocked actually as well, like by the difference in grading. So from school, like the 40% pass mark, you're literally like, oh my god, that's so easy. Like 40%, like at school you'll be getting 80s, 90s or whatever. Yeah. And without doing too much work, like we'd have to work, but it wasn't like
we'd like at least we'd get like 70s. English.
Whereas
like
at uni it's like, I remember my exams in my first year and I got like a low 2-2. And because I'd been putting the same amount of effort in as I did at school, and I worked quite hard at school, like I wasn't a slacker. And I was just shocked. I was like, oh my god, like I can't believe this. I thought I was working really hard.
But again, I think that's LSE. I think they mark quite hard. Like I don't think I stepped up my work rate that much. Like I stepped up a bit, but I didn't step up that much to still be doing like okay.
But then in my in my second and third year, I like really learned. I only started to learn how to work at uni in my second and third year. I think that's part of it as well. Like I think that's why they make the first year not count in a lot of universities towards your final grade, because it is a very big change in how you learn.
Also as well, I actually found the idea of someone just standing there and talking for an hour and you writing down what they're talking about really bizarre, because you're so used to having a class where it's really interactive and you talk about it, and you know they give you question sheets and or a book that you will talk about and things like that. Then
were your lectures quite big?
Yeah, like I'd have like 70, 100 people in lectures, particularly because history of art, a lot of people like to do it as a side subject. And so there'd literally be a man talking for an hour and I'd just write down what he said, and it's just really strange way of learning from school.
In the huge lectures as well, like some of the biggest ones have like 300 people.
Yeah.
My experience of lectures was a little bit more like school, because most of the lectures that I had were like 20 to 30 people.
Yeah.
Sometimes even less. So you could like ask a question.
Yeah.
There might be times where it's like inappropriate to ask a question, but you could definitely like ask the lecturers questions. Yeah. But I think when you're in that situation, if you're at a really big uni or doing a big course, it's a very different.
But yeah.
Okay, so like the overall experience, I put a little note here to mention as well. I actually met Mike, who, for those of you who don't watch my videos all the time, I'm pretty sure most of you will have watched my videos before, is my boyfriend. I met him just before I went to uni, literally like 2 weeks before I went to uni, and I knew at the time, I was like, this is a bad idea, but I really, really liked him. So I didn't want to be like, no, I don't want to go out with you, because that would be mean for a start. And so we kind of started a relationship at a really like awkward time, and it wasn't the best time. Like, I wouldn't recommend meeting a boyfriend who you really love like just before you go to uni, because it does change your experience a lot. And like, I know that even though I didn't get on with the people that well at uni, I know I would have probably had I would have been forced to have a better time if I hadn't been going out with Mike, because I wouldn't. You always have the option, like I didn't have a great time, so I would ring up Mike, or I would go home at the weekend and see Mike and things like that, or he would come and see me. And I think that definitely like makes it difficult.
Whereas if you didn't have that choice, you maybe would have been like, okay,
I have to do it. I have to go out with these people and like make friends. But at the end of the day, like I know I wouldn't have loved it no matter what, because if I was gonna love it, like I would have liked it, even though Mike was there. And Mike used to come as well, and he like everybody that used to come visit me, like, you understand why I didn't like it.
It was a bit weird.
Like all of my friends were like, yeah, we totally, because I feel like such a weirdo being like, I didn't really like uni, because everybody has this great expectation it's going to be like the best time of your life, and like all of my friends liked uni pretty much, and I just feel like very weird for not liking uni. But when they came to visit me, they all understood why I didn't like it. So
I think at the end of the day, everyone has really different experiences, and I think what the most amazing thing is that you didn't like it, like from the first year you didn't like it, and you still stuck out for 3 years. And
because I'm stubborn, I think.
Yeah, but you got a really amazing degree from it, from a really amazing university, and I actually think that is so good, and I think it's a really good point, like a really good show of what your characteristic is like as well. Like, even though you hated it, you still stuck it out, and like you're now doing something you enjoy, even though it's not necessarily related to your degree. You're still like, you know, I'm really gonna do it, and it's worth it just for life skills type thing. So I think, and like,
you definitely learn a lot at uni. Like
I think just definitely.
Like academically, yes, but in terms of like growing up, and also another thing that I should mention as well, we didn't say actually working throughout uni. I had a part-time job the whole way through uni, and in first year sometimes I was away. I'd work like 2 days a week, maybe 3 days a week, and sometimes it was actually like in the evenings. It was quite a weird job. I worked for an events company, and I used to go to other unis and hold like careers events. Not me hold them, but like I used to set everything up, and that also made me realise, because I was obviously visiting all these other unis, it made me like, I want to be at this uni, like these guys are really fun, like meeting all the other students, and that kind of also made me realise like my uni was a bit of an exception. But in terms of working, I would definitely recommend, especially in like first and second year, if you have the time to get a job, because it just takes the pressure off so much in terms of like finances, because
I think everyone relies on their student loan, which you get it and you're like, woohoo, I've got like thousands of pounds to play with. Like, no, you don't. It goes
if
really
you do that by the end of the term, you'll be like,
and you know, you are all skin, which is like kind of all in the same boat together. But if you can get, like, I know a lot of my friends did on like waitressing and stuff like that, just kind of help support them a little bit. And or in the holidays, summer holidays, I used to always work at like really tedious office jobs, and
especially if you're in a big city. Like I was in London, so there was kind of a lot of job opportunities available, and it definitely helps. I would definitely like recommend trying to organise a job whilst you're at uni, because you have a lot of spare time as well.
You do.
So like overall, like my most important thing, if you are thinking about going to university like the next few years, is your choice of uni and basing it on yourself. Don't base it on other people, what other people say to you, like in terms of like you need to go to this uni because it's the best for your cause. Talk to people that have actually been there and experienced it, that are like you. And because that's exactly how like you ended up in the perfect uni for you, because your sister was there and you know that she's like you and she likes similar things. And that's the biggest thing for me, because my experience at uni was kind of ruined by the fact that I didn't do that. So that's like my biggest tip. And
I just think
mind blank.
Mind blank. Well, I just had the best fun ever. I just think you should make the most of all your opportunities when you go to university. Like, just you look back and you're like, wow, I just had so many chances. Like, I was talking about the fresh fella. I was talking about doing skydiving. When else in my life am I ever going to really do that? You know, I just think you should take advantage of everything, and you do. Although Fleur, like, the friends you made there are now really good friends. But like, I made some amazing friends there who I still like. We're all catching up later on this week, and I'm so overexcited about seeing them all again. And like, I think you gotta make friends for life there as well. So I think just take every chance you get.
Cool. Well, I hope this video has helped you. Let us know in the comments below if you have had a similar experience to us, your thoughts on uni, if you've got anything that you think we missed out or anything like that, then definitely let us know. Apart from that, don't forget I'm vlogging every single day in February, so make sure you subscribe for more videos. And I will see you all tomorrow.
Bye!
Bye!